What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you guys are new. Hi, it's Keisha. Nice to meet you all. Getting here because we've got quite a bit to get on into. So I really want to go ahead and talk about the Melanie Martinez allegation. This is something that I've been honestly doing a lot of research on, and I don't know, there's a lot that's out there on the internet, but a lot of it still doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's all like pieces of a puzzle, but nothing feels complete yet. But there is more newer statements being made in the most recent weeks, so I thought we can go ahead and talk about them. Let's go ahead and talk about the Melanie Martinez and Timothy Heller allegations. I'm gonna go ahead and explain it, break it down for you, and also talk about the new statements being made. If you guys are new here, stick around. It's a fun time. We talk all things pop culture, we chat a bunch of shit, and then we go about our day, and then we do that again. It's just a fun time. I feel like whenever I make my videos, I feel like I'm kikiing with my friends. I feel like I'm on FaceTime like, hey girl, how you doing? Do you like my hair? You don't? What should I do next? I'm in a really hyped mood today. I'm really, okay girl. I'm not going to question it because yesterday, yeah, face down on my pillow, sad, thinking, damn, am I going to die alone? Genuinely, like I can't even exaggerate this ish. So yeah, make sure you guys stick around. We'd love to have you here. Subscribe. It costs you nothing and takes what, less than 10 seconds. So what are you waiting for? Or love me like you do. I don't know when that became my intro, but I said it once and it just kind of stuck and people found it funny. So the headline here says, Melanie Martinez and Timothy Heller allegations explained what happened that led to a new statement. Over 6 years have passed since singer Timothy Heller accused fellow musician Melanie Martinez of SA and assault, as the latter offered another statement. The allegations from Timothy Heller against Melanie Martinez began in November of 2017 with an untargeted post on X, formerly known as Twitter, with a hint at her story of abuse and fears to ruin the person's life. Now, as we go ahead and continue, I do want to go ahead and just say alleged. I don't want anyone to sue me, try and get some shitcoin off of me, because girl, I love my money. And I love my freedom, and I love peace of mind and no one in my business, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and constantly say allegedly. Do you remember when people used to whip a nene? God, I want to be young again, but I also don't because that was depressing. Low key, but no one talks about that. I do want to mention that Timothy Heller and Melanie Martinez were like joint to the hip, like pretty close friends for the most part. Melanie definitely is more of the bigger artist compared to Timothy Heller. I could not name a single Timothy Heller song, and that's no shade, absolutely none. But with Melanie Martinez, she definitely is more of the popular artist. So of course, when you come out to say, this person did this to me, there's a huge chunk of people who automatically, you know, don't take your story serious or don't even want to fully hear you out, which is very sad. And I think this happens typically with musicians and their fan bases. A lot of them don't even want to listen. They're just so quick to jump at things because their fave could never do such a thing, when it's like you never really know what people are capable of. You don't know people behind closed doors, and that's not me choosing a side here or anything. I don't want people to see like that, but it's facts. I've seen this happen even when we go ahead and talk about different musicians here. People just constantly want to say, she could never, my fave could never do that. But maybe they could. She said this back in 2017, kind of like a cryptic message. She said, what if I have my own story of abuse, but I'm scared to ruin the person's life and I still love them in an effed up way, and the public really loves them and most probably wouldn't believe me. Heller later took to X once again in December of 2017 to tell her truth and publicly accuse Melanie of SA. She referred to her fellow singer as her best friend, but noted how her power and control over her grew and grew. Now, these are some very serious claims. She cited how the topic of sexual preferences arose during a sleepover before she repeatedly asked her to have sex with her, to which she said no. Despite her repeated request to simply just go to sleep, Heller noted that Martinez persistently begged to touch her and the rest of her. Heller stated how she never said yes and said no repeatedly, adding her shock at how she was molested by her best friend. She was clear she declined the advances across 2 nights while Martinez was persistent. Martinez responded to the allegations on X, saying how she never said no to what they chose to do together. Now I'm going to go ahead and read out Melanie's full statement. But I don't like that choice of words of she never said no. I just feel like when we're talking about SA, I just feel like that isn't the way that I'm going to word it. And when we get on into Melanie's statement, and that's not me, again, trying to choose a side here, but like, I'm sorry, if someone's accusing me of SA, I'm going to go full on hard to show you guys. Like, there isn't much you can do to prove it, though, because at the end of the day, there's no cameras there to sleep over, because that would be weird. And at the end of the day, it's only these two who were at sleepover who know what truly went down. For us as the public, is pretty much just giving she said. A whole lot of convincing that you're going to have to do. And if someone, again, is accusing me of such a huge thing like this, I'm not going to take it lightly. I don't know what my statement would look like. I don't know what I can cook up in order to... And when I mean cook up, I don't mean in a conniving, twisted way. But like, if I'm truly innocent here, I'm gonna go at it on and on and on to really just let people know this person has made this up. I felt like by her saying she never said no to what we chose to do together, it's just like, I don't know, I probably would have worded that a little bit better. Just something about it just doesn't feel appropriate. And she also said, would never be intimate with someone without their absolute consent. Well, I hope so. And I hope that applies for absolutely everyone, because some people are just taking absolute piss now. Like, I'm honestly really shocked by the amount of SA stories that I'm hearing in general from people, but celebrities as well. And a lot of them just get like little slaps on the wrist, and yeah, they make the headline for about 2 weeks, but then it's like back to normal. They're still making bank. They still have a lot of freedom, whilst the other person they've actually assaulted doesn't feel a sense of freedom within, you know, is truly stuck with that story, whilst the celebrity, the one with the power in that situation, who got away with it, is on to the next thing, you know. And God knows how many other people they're doing it to who just haven't felt comfortable coming forward. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable coming forward because, like, it's like I mentioned earlier, like, also, why am I glitching? It must be because it's before noon. Whenever it's before 12, my English is not English, and like, I just can't make sense of what I'm saying. Also, I have this giant spot on my chin, which I just keep looking at. I know you peeped it too, but I love how you didn't say anything. No, but seriously, like, it's one of those spots that, like, it hurts. And, like, even if you push it and, like, squeeze it, that bitch ain't going nowhere. Like, she's literally here to stay. I have a whole mountain on my chin. Like, are you dumb? You're dumb. Wait, let me go ahead and pull up the full statement, though. I feel like it's only right. Let's go ahead and check out what Mrs. Crybaby, a.k.a. Melanie... Okay, I liked Melanie Martinez's music. I wouldn't say something has turned me off of her. I think this situation is so rocky because it's like, I think this is going to be the only thing that happens. There's going to be a whole bunch of, like, Timothy Heller coming out to keep on sharing her experiences because she must be pissed and livid by what she allegedly went through, right? And then you've got Melanie, who's, like, the bigger artist, a touring artist, and just onto making a new project. Like, her life just, like, her mind just isn't at the place that Timothy's is at, you know? And I think that is quite evident because Melanie doesn't really speak about it. She spoke about it in 2017 and then decided that that would be the last of it. For me personally, if I'm truly innocent, I mean, it's like, how many statements can you make? I understand that. I'm trying to see it from all perspectives here. But if I'm truly innocent here, I don't know. If I'm truly innocent and I know there's still a conversation being had about me and my name is still in the headlines in the most recent times in 2024, best believe I'm gonna be on that ish. Best believe I'm not going to be too pleased, okay? It says here, in the US, individuals suspected of making false accusations of the R word may be charged with the civil crime of wasting police time or the criminal charge of perverting the course of justice. So, I don't know, like, if someone was truly lying about me, I would do everything I could. I don't know how far the case would go. I don't even know if they would take the case, but I would do everything I could so that person understands that, hey, you can't just outwardly be lying about things, trying to convince a huge ton of people of something that just isn't the truth and think you can get away with that, you know? But then again, people do try and sue people, try and take actions, but then nothing comes from it. But I don't know, I just feel like maybe I'm just different. I think I would just make sure that the person who's making the false accusations about me kind of has something in their life ruined, because that is a crazy accusation to make on someone, especially if it wasn't true. Maybe her PR team is saying, just stay stum, stay silent, because by you speaking about it, you're going to make it a hot topic again. I don't know, but the way PR teams work, you have to understand, they are trying to defend their artist because at the end of the day, that person is making bank for them. So let's go ahead, rewind back to December the 5th, 2017. She said, I'm horrified and saddened by the statements and story told tonight by Timothy Heller. What she and I shared was a close friendship for a period of time. We came into each other's lives as we were both starting our careers as artists, and we tried to help each other. We both had pain in dealing with our individual demons and the new paths we were forging, but I truly felt we were trying to lift each other up. She never said no to what we chose to do together, and although we parted ways, I am sending her love and light always. How do you guys feel about Melanie's statement? So, in response, Heller spoke to Newsweek and insisted she rejected the advances multiple times and noted how Melanie Martinez attempted to contact both her and her boyfriend multiple times after publishing the allegations. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just try and see it from Melanie's perspective. Now, let's say Melanie didn't actually do anything and she wasn't hands-on, she didn't touch her in any way, and it was generally like a sleepover. Now, and this may not be the case, and I hope it's not the case, you know, I hope nobody would come out and lie about such a thing. People are also stating that because Timothy is the less popular one between the two of them. And she's been there to witness Melanie's, you know, breakout, I guess. Again, the thing with Melanie is that she isn't, like, we don't talk about her here in the UK. I don't think that she charts here in the UK. If she does, I'm sorry, I don't know. Never heard her played on the radio. I've never heard anybody in the UK really talk about Melanie. Not to say that she doesn't have fans here, because I'm sure she does, but she's popular, I guess, amongst her genre of music, but I wouldn't say like she is like one of the popular it girls that is mentioned. Now, something that I find very interesting about Melanie, because I do like, what song was it? I think it was the K through 12 album. I've always found it odd, her choice of outfits, but you know what, if people want to appear a certain way, then sure. But I do feel like sometimes she does come across as like and I get it, like a lot of the lyrics in particularly that album, I can wait, what album is it? Hold on, let me check. Melanie Martinez albums. I remember when I released my single Freak back in 2020. Quick plug, because if I'm not gonna plug a bitch, who's gonna do it for me? But yeah, I released my song in 2020. It was called Freak. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. I need to get my ass back in the studio and stop being a lazy ass bitch. But also, I've had like writer's block. Like, you remember the episode of Hannah Montana where Miley had writer's block? I just kept yapping. I just kept doing what I do best. What I was trying to say is the single that I released in 2020, which is called Freak, go and check it out. It's a good time. It was actually inspired by a Melanie Martinez beat. So when I was looking on YouTube for beats and then taking it to the producer and like buying the beat and the tag and everything, it said inspired by Melanie Martinez. And then I was like doing more digging on who Melanie Martinez's music and stuff. And I really did like quite a few of her songs and like the melodies. That was my point. Oh, so she has an album called Crybaby. I'm not gonna lie to you. Before I even knew this, before I knew English, before I knew any of this, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep it very real with you. If we're gonna have a real ass conversation, girl, I gotta be real. Okay? I might tell a joke, but bitch, I don't tell a lie. Crybaby is a very good album. And I remember 2019, the K through 12 album. I remember she released like a music video movie thing on YouTube that did extremely well. I always found it weird though how it felt like a lot of her songs are about pacifiers or about babies, and I get it, she's probably talking about trauma and childhood things, but I feel like two things could be true. Like, yeah, you're expressing your story, but it feels like her costumes or her wardrobe choices always feel like she's trying to be a baby and kind of monetizing off of that, which I find to be a little bit strange. If I go ahead and type up Melanie Martinez outfits, let's see what comes up. It's, yeah, a whole bunch of costumes, alien looks, animals, and I get it, that's probably her aesthetic, but I can have that opinion if I want to by thinking that, okay, a lot of it just feels like, I don't know, it's really strange. What you can do is really speak on your experience and speak on situations that have been close to you, and that's what she does with her music. And I think a lot of the melodies are great and stuff, but some of the lyrics I'm just like, damn, this person really does put it all in the lyrics. Someone said, I'll be honest, I don't know the Melanie Martinez lore, as the adult baby-ish puts me off of her music. That being said, even if that is the case, I don't really think it makes it better, because she still sold the image and monetized it, which only promotes it further. It's one thing to practice age regression stuff in a therapeutic setting with a licensed professional to get over childhood trauma. It's another to make it your entire image as a public figure and make money off of it. Even if it was done with the intention of reclaiming harm done, the message will only reach your diehard fans, and to everyone else it just looks like you're childlike features and behaviors, both to those that dislike and to those that like that kind of thing. That seems to have worked for her for a very long time now, and I get it, it probably is an alter ego to have a crybaby, because I think a lot of musicians have alter egos, but Timothy Heller's 2024 statement explained. Now, before we get on into it, actually, I just want to mention that nothing really changed for Melanie. Like, yeah, people were, you know, pretty much trying to cancel her and say hashtag Melanie Martinez is over party, and that was something that I believe that was trending back in 2017. She lost some fans, but I think a lot of people still rode with her and stood by her, because she can't stand by herself, because she is a baby. Clearly, she's still a touring artist. Melanie has still gone on to make more projects, and yeah, and then there's Timothy, who probably isn't receiving that kind of love. Now, people are saying that Timothy probably lied about this also, because she is the smaller artist and she probably was just jealous and envious of Melanie, and the only way to really take down a Melanie Martinez is when you accuse them of SA. Now, is that true? I do think that one of the worst accusations anybody for that matter could have is an SA one, and I think it's happened with a lot of people. A lot of it sometimes it's debunked. Some people are able to like really defend themselves and say, you know what, I wasn't here at this time, this person lied on me. This has happened with quite a few musicians, male musicians specifically. There's also some that haven't been debunked, and some where it's like, is a little bit unclear here. He said, she said, we will never really know. Doesn't that suck? Sorry, I just got a message. Doesn't that suck? Timothy Heller's 2024 statement explained. Timothy Heller revived the conversation surrounding her sexual allegations in July 2024, with a statement on TikTok telling how she was effectively run off the internet after revealing her experience with Melanie Martinez. Yeah, I can only imagine she got quite a lot of bullying. Not to take away from the allegations, but she's got some skeletons up her closet. And this is what I'm trying to say. You need to be a good person. You need to like keep your fingernails off of your phone to go and type venom. Okay? Timothy Heller's past, not that it takes away from the situation, but two things can be true. She's a tapped individual who needs a lot of work. Should be racist, no one should be offensive, point blank period. But if you know that you're garnering some sort of attention, why are you not going to go and delete your old tweets? Like, isn't there apps that can do that for you? And it reminds me of like the whole Brooke Schofield thing. Like, you know that you're garnering a lot of popularity now. You didn't think, especially because you're in a space where people do bring up other people's tweets, you didn't think, let me delete it. Wrong is wrong at him day, but my thing is like, you didn't even delete it? Yikes. Heller insisted that she neither was proven to have nor admitted to lying about the allegations that she published during the Me Too movement. The singer discussed how Melanie Martinez saying she never said no to what they chose to do together was quite validating to her, as it proves she doesn't know how consent works. Went on to discuss how during an interview with the Daily Mail, she offered a date of when the assault incident occurred. This spurred fans to Martinez to uncover old posts from both singers and discover the two were in different states. The discovery was enough for many to discredit Heller's claims and begin flooding the singer with negative comments. She went on to discuss how she received the familiar, F the haters advice, but struggled as she faced ongoing backlash. I hate when people do that. F the haters. No, sometimes they're just bombarding you, and sometimes it feels like it is truly the end of the world. You should F the haters. But no, sometimes ish can get to you. Like, I hate when people try and make it seem like, oh my god, you just had to stand strong. Yes, I would love to do that, and that is the end goal. But baby, sometimes it's just hard, and it feels like people are like coming at you all at once. And girl, I can only imagine she was flooded with a bunch of people hating on her because they were like, you know what? Finally, we have something. Melanie was here at this location. There was even no sleepover. You weren't even in the same state. Ooh. Karma is a bitch. I should have known better. I can't say the word karma without thinking of Jojo Siwa. Anyways, let's not get on into that. We're not talking about Jojo. How did Jojo get into this? Heller noted how she was excessive gaslit into thinking she was a bad person, as her mental health faced a decline due to the ongoing negativity. I can imagine. Someone said, Melanie Martinez's team did really well hiding these allegations because I remember when they first came out, it was everywhere. Then a few years later, Melanie rebranded slightly and then disappeared. Good for Timothy for bringing them back into the spotlight and refusing to back down or to be bullied. Someone said, I went to high school with Timothy. Although she was incredibly talented, sweet, and would go far with her music, I remember reading about this in 2017. Sad that this all happened to her. I'm at least glad that 7 years later, people seem to be realizing and accepting that women can also be capable or guilty of SA. Look, SA is not only done by men. Women can be bad too, and I don't support women's wrongs. I'm not the type of person to be like, oh my god, I support women's rights and women's wrongs. No. Melanie just gives off a little bit of unhinged vibes. But that's just my assumption here. Same way people will assume that I'm rude or will assume that I'm a shady bitch. Alright. I think when people come forward against powerful people, they just automatically get crushed. And I think that part sucks, And I think that we're always like, oh my god, come forward, share your experience and share your stories. But what about when a large time of people just don't believe you? I want to go ahead and pull up the video. And I want to go ahead and react to it with you guys. It's a 6-minute video, so let me just start screen recording.
Speaking out against my abuser ruined my life, and I'd like to talk to you about it. I'm gonna be reading something I wrote.
I don't know if I sound slow, and I'm not even trying to be funny, but I just didn't expect her voice to be like that. She's so... That's such a... Okay, let me stop. Such a cute, sweet voice though. Yeah, I just didn't expect it to be like that.
It's not particularly well written, but I just needed to collect my thoughts. Whether you know who I am or not, I ask you to please listen to my story.
I'm listening, girl.
If you do
I'm
recognize
stacked.
me, then you haven't heard from me in a couple of years. And that's because I was effectively run off the internet. You also may have heard that I admitted to lying or that it was proven that I lied. Neither are true. Speaking out against my abuser ruined my life. Wow. Here's how we got to that point. During the Me Too movement, I chose to speak out against a former friend who had essayed me. I was young and naive and could never imagine how this would end up affecting my life. I believed that as long as I told the truth, things would turn out all right. I was very wrong. After my initial statement, describing in detail what happened, my abuser issued a statement in response. She used the sentence, "She never said no to what we chose to do together." While I did say no, in many different ways, this sentence was actually quite validating for me to hear. She clearly didn't understand how consent works, and she admitted that something took place between us. I wish it ended there. I made the mistake of doing an interview with Daily Mail. While being interviewed, they asked for more specific details, like when the incident took place. It'd been around 2 years prior, so I didn't remember the exact date. What I did remember was a picture I took the next day. I went back in my camera roll, found the picture, and told them the day of the incident was the day before. Unfortunately, I was wrong. The picture in my camera roll appeared multiple times. I can't explain why. When the interview came out, her fans went back in her posts to that date to find that we were in different states. If you've never heard my story before, you might at this point wonder, why would that matter? She admitted something between you took place in her statement. I agree, and this is just one of the parts that drives me crazy. After this discovery, she released a second statement, in which she thanks her fans for researching the timeline and analyzing past Instagram posts, which reveal my...
Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. This, I need like one Twitter thread, or I need one article to just like sum everything up. It really was hard. So I feel like more and more things are coming out that I didn't even know about as well upon doing my research. So the fact that Melanie Martinez is like thanking her fans for like finding a timeline, this doesn't feel professional. It just feels a power dynamic. I don't know. All I know is that Melanie Martinez stands. I'm not gonna say fans, because if you're a fan of her doesn't mean you're a crazy ass bitch. But the stands, I have to prepare and buckle up, because this comment section is gonna be crazy. Okay, it's gonna be crazy. I smell it. I smell it already.
Statements. Unfortunately, this was enough for 99% of her fans to take what she said as truth and deem me a liar. The complete contradiction of her statements meant nothing. The events after this are so much and so overwhelming, it's hard for me to recount. She ended up releasing essentially a diss track about me, with lyrics perpetuating the idea that I lied about all of this for fame.
Diss track? I was gonna say diss track like we're musicians, but they are musicians, so that diss track at our big age. Okay, let me continue. I need to get my water. My mouth was dry.
I was a musician at the time, and after speaking out, gained tens of thousands of followers. While there were...
Also, this is not a Stanley Cup, because I'm actually smarter with my money. Why would I spend £50 on a flipping Stanley Cup, which I'm probably going to misplace on a bus or somewhere at a gym? I don't go gym, but hypothetically.
Some supporters, the majority of the followers were people who actively hated me. I suddenly had thousands of hate accounts dedicated to me,
That's
thousands
insane.
of dislikes and negative comments
That's
on
insane.
all of my music, and completely ridiculous fabricated stories
That's
being
insane.
posted online. I really hoped it would die out and people who liked me would stick around and I'd be able to move on with my career, but it never died. Anything I attempted to do was infected with this story.
Yeah.
Googling me results in many first-page results calling me a liar.
I can imagine.
People who hated me took it upon themselves to ruin every opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Partnerships with brands, modeling opportunities, they were all flooded with comments saying I lied about SA. In addition to this, my home address, phone number, and family's phone numbers were all leaked. I became so discouraged with my own music career, I essentially stopped. I started doing SW in an attempt to regain some autonomy. But that was taken from me as well when people who hated me hacked the account. I was just trying to move
I'm
on.
listening, but...
My adult content was being...
Finally, I can pause. My screen was freezing up. I don't know, I think I have too many tabs open, which is my biggest problem. It says a lot about my state of mind. I have like literally over 15 tabs. Anyways, I do want to stop there and say, why are you doxing people? Why do people dox people? Why are you finding out where she lives? What does that do for you? It's scary. Very weird. Yeah, I've always found it strange when people like, yeah, someone gets cancelled or called out for something, but even if that's the case, I'm not gonna go out way to like message future brand ambassadors, which may message future brands that they may potentially work with in the future, be like, oh my god, this person did this. It's not, I don't have that much energy. Even if I felt a pure disgust for someone or distaste, yeah, no, you're not gonna get that from me. I like to think I use my time wisely, but then again, I don't. And I literally just been binge watching the whole of Love Island USA in the last 3 days, and there's quite a few episodes, okay, and they're not short either, okay. That's insane behavior. Like, stop being up people's arse. Like, musicians fandoms, you can't tell them anything. Anyways, let's continue. I'm listening. I'm sad
and mocked by the people who hated me. Every single one of my social media accounts was hacked, including my email.
Hacked? Oh. What kind of craziness is this? Like, even if she was lying, what kind of nonsense is that? What is the end goal here? What do you... No.
They didn't
like
get
that.
into as my bank account.
Wait, what did you say about the bank account? They didn't get into the bank account, right? Because that would be... How would they even?
The only thing they didn't get into was my bank account.
So they took everything apart from my bank account. Jeez. I mean, at this point, you might as well take that too, because you're taking everything else away from me. Hacking into people's accounts is insane. Like, how do you even, like, I don't want to know how you hack, but I want to know how you hack. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what?
I was given the classic fuck the haters advice, but until you're bombarded with the amount that I had to endure, you really can't imagine how it would affect you. It was just so much louder than any amount of support I was receiving. As you can imagine, my mental health was and is majorly affected by this situation.
Wow.
And while I wish I was the type of person with the confidence to say fuck the haters and stick it out, I'm just not. I'm sensitive and not self-confident and never have been. And this made it so much worse. It got to the point where I could no longer put up with the abuse. Holding on to this public image was no longer worth the pain, and I deactivated all of my public accounts. In doing this, I also saw this as completely giving up on being a musician.
Wow.
I couldn't put myself through the public scrutiny anymore.
Wow. Fair enough.
So that's where I've been the past couple of years, in private.
Wow.
It was a huge relief to no longer be bombarded with the amount of hate I was receiving every day. But now I'm stuck with the after effects. I imagine every day the life that I could have lived if this all hadn't happened. Would I be the musician I always wanted to be? It's kept me in a complete freeze state.
This is sad. No, this is sad. This is sad. No, this is sad. I knew it was gonna be sad. I knew what we'd be reporting on today. I knew it was gonna be like a dark. It's sad. It's sad. And I think just like hearing her and just like seeing her, I don't know.
Been suffering the past couple of years. Frankly, it's embarrassing. I wish I could move on, but I've never wanted things to be over more than I have now.
Wow. Wow.
I've been in partial hospitalization programs and attempted to regain any semblance of confidence and hope for my life.
Wow.
But I can't shake that this is the wrong timeline for me.
At the end of the day, this person clearly appears broken. This person is saying they had no, confidence in themselves to begin with, but now with this situation happening, it's like they've given up on their passion of music, and wow, this is insane. This is nothing but insane.
I didn't do anything wrong. I spoke the truth. If you're familiar with my story, you may have also heard that I admitted to lying, and I can assure you that never happened. There were photoshopped images spread around of a confession that never happened because I have nothing to confess. I never lied. You may have also heard that I accused other celebrities of this, which I can promise you never happened either. There's so many other terrible things that people have made up about me that I'm not going to dissect and defend right now. But I was successfully gaslit into thinking I was a bad person who deserved this. I am so scared to speak out about this again. There's a high possibility that I won't receive any support from this, and people who hate me will target me again, and I go back into hiding. I ask that if you are someone who is under the impression that I lied about this, to please hear me out. Please think about her contradicting statements. Please realize that there's no one on earth who knows what happened that night besides me and her. And even the smallest possibility that I could be telling the truth should be enough for you to not want to risk ruining an innocent person's life in this way. I'm completely exhausted from begging people to believe me for years now. I'm not sure
it must get exhausting,
what I'm hoping will come from this. It's gotten to be quite humiliating to beg people to care.
Wow.
But if you haven't heard my story before, thank you for hearing me, and I could really use your help in rewriting the false narrative of who I am and what happened.
Wow. Ooh, girl, that shook me. Wow.